Good morning. Welcome to OptionsTender. It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. We're taking a look at this intraday, the market intraday, at about 11:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. You have the 99-cent and the $4.99 option on there, or even if you're a I prefer YouTube because you don't get the intraday with the Patreon. Just a heads up, they don't let me integrate YouTube with Patreon, so I can't pick individuals who can see and who can't see it early. Okay, so let's jump into this, and we're going to do something we're going to add on a little bit more. Today we have a member that wants targets from SPX, and so what we're going to do is, as usual, start off with SPX on the monthly time frame so you can see what we're dealing with in the big picture, and then we'll go to SPY, multiple time frames, and then on the 65 we will go around the horn on ES, SPX, SPY, and the rest of them. Okay, so we can include some targets. All right, let's start off with SPX. On the monthly time frame, we're looking at 1929 top, 2000 top, and 2021 top. We still have a top in so far. Are we going to get a new high? That's kind of what we're just, talking about. So in the big picture of things, I'm bearish no matter what, okay? On the lower time frames, we're trying to figure out if price wants to go get a new high or not, because we have somewhat of a little bull flag there, but will that bull flag fail? That's the big question. Here's the 2008 top, 21 top, and that comes in confluence with our top here, okay? Very, very important top. I do think this is a very big picture recession that we're coming into. Let's go over to SPY. And it's really the same point of view. We just don't have as much information going way back to 1929. We only go back here to 1994. So 2008 top, 21 top, and we're looking at this possibly being the top here. Let's see what this monthly candle looks like. Do we get an inside candle, or do we start to reverse this? We're getting near the end of the month, so we'll see how it ends. Now we are holding off of that 8 EMA. We came down to it and not quite touched it, but so far this is in a bullish stance, but we're right against major resistance. Let's go to the weekly. On the weekly time frame, we're looking at the same thing. Price is getting tight within this apex here. Do we eke out a new high and just retest the trend lines from both of those 2000 and 2008 all the way to 1929? That's possible. Even if we do, we'll just short it again. There's nothing that says we're going to rip to 7,000 and such. We'll really have to get on top of this trend line here, hold on to it, and start to grind to the upside. So is it impossible? Absolutely not. I mean, we've seen over and over what price can do if it wants to be bullish and grind to the upside. All right, so I do presume we either reverse or get some sort of reversal candle here in the weekly time frame. That's what I'm looking for as we get into these resistances. Moving over to this other board, the weekly, we're looking for some time relationships into the beginning to middle of February. So let's see where price is when that happens. If we're higher, we'll be looking for a reversal. If we're lower, we'll be looking for maybe a bottom. All right, so the correction here from 2021 into 2022, and then we have the retracement. So here's the big levels that we have here. The 127, that's 515 and 562. Those are huge levels, and clearly they proved that after rejecting these huge rejections, got on top of that, and so the price we're looking at reaching that level at some point after we get a good reversal. On the daily time frame, looking at the traditional look, trend is our friend. We have a possible bigger wedge that we're forming since we held on to this trend line here from the low to low to low here. Now the big question is, so I had this little trend line here for the breakout of the flag, right? So we broke out of the smaller flag, but then we have some geometric lines here. So I want to make sure that you knew that we could possibly reverse off of this point too. And this could be a larger flag. So that's how we'll look at it. And I think whether you're bull or bear, that we're going to get a reversal anyway. And if we get down to the 50, 60%, you notice the 20 moving average is down here about 590. So we'll keep that in mind as we look at the rest of our analysis here. But we start breaking out again, it's fine. Honestly, if we make a new high or back testing some trend lines here, I think that we'll reverse after getting another weekly divergence or so. Okay. Changing boards. Let's see if time and price is happening. Okay, so we have 126, 124, a little bit of cluster here of time and price. So if we're higher going into the rest of this week, then I'll be looking for a reversal here. If we're lower, we get a big move to the downside. Maybe we'll get some sort of low in this cluster. All right. So we'll just keep an eye on it. This is the huge level that we're looking at, 601.85. That's going to be our bear bull line, where we get on top of the 601.85. I think that we'll get new highs at that point. All right, and so far we're looking at this really being a wave 1, and then an A, B, C for a wave 2. And with that said, if we do get our reversal from here, then we can form a price target from the high. Use your extension tool to the low of wave 1, and then to the high of wave 2. And I'll just assume that gets right there to the 601.85. And then our target, let's clean this up. So we just have one target here. It's very typical for wave 3 to go down to the 162 extension, and we'll color those green. I just like those green because when price gets there to its target, if and when, that's the 200 moving average there. That would be no coincidence. And we'd also have, that's the 555 range. And that's also 50% retracement of this entire move here. So we have lots of confluence here if and when price starts to get to that point, okay, in time. And price will look at each of these clusters and where we're at that time to see our lows and our highs and such, okay? But this will be our target if we reverse off of the 601.85. That would be wave 3. Going to the 65. On the 65 minute, here's that flag, and it's not perfect from high to high at this point. I just have it here for reference, but we're looking to tag the 601.85. This goes up to 602 something. It honestly, you can adjust lines, and I know that's the crazy part. Oh, you can move your lines anywhere you want them. Well, we'll see about that. So at this point, this is still here's the smaller flag. We have a breakout, but is that the actual real big picture flag? We'll see. We should get a reversal, and then if we make it down, if we don't go directly to the options expected move on the upper side, it is very likely that we'll make it down to the options expected move on the lower end. So you can see that 590 that we just talked about, that's about where the 50% retracement, I believe, is. And that's perfectly with the options expected move. It's also holding on to this gap area. So that would be our target to make it to with the reversal here. And that's a good spot. I like that, whether you're bull or bear. I like the short into that zone, and you take off profit and start protecting your portfolio. And that's what we'll do in the room. We'll show that. So 121, it looks like we have a time and price here at 121. I'll take this one off. I think we should get a high here today, especially if we tag right here, 601. We're just pennies away. And then I already have the retracements in. I'll have to adjust those clearly to, let's just put it assuming that we'll get up there. And then a retracement should be about the There's a 50% right at that 590, just under it. So I think that will be a good spot for at least a reaction and to take off some profit. But on a typical, if you're a bull, you're looking for this to be a nice impulse wave 1. Look for a wave 2 pullback and wave 3 to go higher. So that's what you're looking for. So this low can come in at the 50, 60, or 70% retracement would be healthy for a 1-2 setup. All right, and you'll kind of have to keep that in line with simultaneously look at the Qs, because if the Qs are doing the same thing, which look at we're reversing off the 50% here, love that, and then you have your retracements. Okay, so if let's say the Qs are kind of leading to the downside and they're at the 62% retracement and SPY is at the 50%. That looks like a good area to take some profit and look at both of them. Okay, if SPY is not near its target to the downside, I think Qs are going to drag the market down and lead. I think it's going to continue on, but it doesn't mean it can't go into I don't necessarily think it's going to be in a free fall, but it should have some sort of 1, 2, lower high, and then lower. Okay. And I'm not sure that we're going to really play any bounces anymore, because if this is a wave 3 to the downside, those bounces should be pretty shallow and pretty swift. So, we'll put protection on just for, to sleep at night, but I doubt that we'll play any real tradable bounces after this reverses. All right, let's go to SPX. And then on SPX, we'll just look at our target here. We're really looking for this area at the 5660 zone. That's the breakout zone, but we have another zone. This is a consolidation area, so I do suspect that price gets a bounce in this zone. Okay, so that's anywhere from 5570 to 5650. Okay, so that's where we're looking at the next price level. And like we said, we have that 1-2 setup where wave 3 comes all the way down here to about the 5570 area, and the 200 moving average is there as well. So we're getting into the resistance zone that I have marked right here, and that's these tops and these bottoms. Okay, so that's why I have the zone right into there, and we're right at the upper end of that. Okay, and here's the downtrend line, and I really do like, look at that. Here's some good tops here. I really do like SPX a lot better. I think the charts are cleaner because there's no influence from dividend payments. Okay, so that's why SPY. I do that because everybody trades it, but these are actually the better charts for me. I think they're crisp, and I use these a lot in my visual when I'm looking at different screens. Okay, ES. Oops. /ES. Now ES has this bearish rising wedge, broke down from it, and I really use the 4 hour when I'm looking at ES. So I'm gonna go over there. It acts, the 4 hour acts much more similar with the indicators and whatnot with the 65 minute. And so what we're looking at is, again, this bull flag haven't quite broken out there. We have this very good channel from bottom to bottom and a channel top here. And again, those might not be perfect on there, but we're into the resistance zone there. And I think that if we tag just a little bit higher, I think we'll get a reversal off of that. And if you pull back to these levels, I think we'll make it to the options expected move about the 5950 area. And I'm going to keep showing ES because I think in a week or two, we're going to start trading futures again. So I'll be looking at maybe making in the Discord a new tab, a new area where we could trade futures and get people going on that. Because I think futures are really fun, and you're able to get smaller wins each day. So for some people, it really satisfies that need to trade more often. And you can just set your stops and let your runners run, depending on how many contracts you have. And you can, peel off that account each day, if you have a $2,000 account, you can peel off, $50, $100 each day as you get some winnings. And then we're talking micros, by the way. I don't trade the regular ES minis. Those are huge contracts. And also, if you have a larger account, clearly you can take off more than that. But let's go over to SMH. We'll go back to the 65-minute. And I use the 65-minute because it gives us equal candles during each trading day. So still holding the uptrend line at this point. And let's see if, does this go grab one more high here? Could. Maybe we're setting up, because this was very, very choppy. Couldn't tell what the heck was going on here. And if this was at the end of a maybe C wave, maybe this is an ending diagonal where you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, which crosses over 1, right? Very choppy. And then you have your 5, wave 5, which means that probably NVIDIA is going to help move the market up a little bit. But these are going to, if we make it up to this options expected move to the upper end, I think next week we start to reverse into the end of the week, which would be a good theoretical trade from this options expected move to reverse into the middle of the range again here. So we'll probably take some nice puts if price gets back above here. And then at minimum, looking for a 1, 2, so if you're bullish, 2 setup, and wave 3 should really start to move to the upside. That would make this a leading diagonal. Okay. If you're bearish, this trend line is going to break. You have the 200 moving average that price has held on to this whole time, and I think that will break down from that point. IWM is where we have our call hedges, and it's been working out really well. Had to move them out from today into later this week because I didn't want to take the risk of price doing nothing and just our hedges dwindling away. So move those. We're getting into this resistance zone here, and we have our next target up above if price wants to make it up there. But this brings us right into the options expected move, right into resistance. So heck, this move could be over, you guys. An ABC for a zigzag, a nice 5, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. So that would be complete a zigzag, and price could start to fall, leading by tech. So that's what we'll be watching for. DIA, the Dow, nice big reversal here. I do think this is a correction, an expanding flat here. It makes more sense to me where this is an A, B, C, and we're getting into those reversal ranges here. And the options expected move again. Go figure. All right. Last but not least is the VIX. Looking at the VIX, we're forming this. We didn't hold on to this trend line. I'm going to get rid of this, but we're making a bullish falling wedge. And I think this is just about done. Maybe we get a little bit lower today, but we're already starting to form the positive divergences. And I think we're oversold here. This should start to give us the early signal, maybe going into tomorrow, a buy signal. And we're getting positive divergence here in the MACD as well. So we're looking for this to start moving to the upside. And we're clearly going to break this high here, and I believe this next move should break this high here. Not all in one swoop. I think we're going to look at and see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wave move, and then again get a nice big reversal from there, and it basically mirror what the market is doing. So there you go, you guys. I think we get our reversal pretty soon here, and we'll revisit you tomorrow. All right, thanks for all the likes and the subscriptions. Thank you for all the support.